on YouTube. This is 3zinferno. So today's topic is samurais. Now I know samurais is a hit or miss deck with a lot of people. It's like I really hate this deck or I really love this deck. Samurais are a very powerful deck. If they can go off, they can kick your ass and you can't come back. Doesn't matter like how broken your hand is, you probably can't come back. There's a really lot of important things against samurais. First, they can make Shien, Dentura Beast, Dentura Barkion with relative ease. So that's really difficult when they can go first turn like Shien and Beast. It's like I can't do anything. So I can't use spells. I can't, there's just a lot of things. So like, what do you do against a samurai player? What are some of the most important cards against samurais, and what do you need to know? So, Max C, Effect Veiler, Phoenix Chain, the big three. Let's talk about this again. Max C is actually really good in this matchup. Especially, that's like your only defense mechanism if you go second, and they open the Brokes. So let's say they open like Gateway and United, or something like that, or two of the three spell cards, Dojo, 6-7 United, or Gateway. Let's say they open like 2 6-7 Uniteds or 1 Dojo, 1 whatever. Okay. Max C is really good to stop them from continuing, because if they go Kageki into Kagemusha and then you go Max C the Kageki, they'll make a Shien, but then they'll have to stop after. But if you didn't Max C, then they'll just keep going. Let's say they have a Dojo, and then they can go Shien Inishi, and then like you'd be pretty missed. Like that's a kill condition right there. They make a Shien and an Inishi with Dojo somehow. I'm not gonna go through all of the steps to get there, but I'm just saying, like, okay, if you allow them to get there, or like a Shien Grandmaster Kizon with 2 back row or anything like that with a Shien back is really powerful. Okay, so obviously the biggest thing you have to worry about is Shien. Second, I think, would be Dentura Beast. So Max C is really good to stop them from going off, so that allows you time to set up. Because if they just drop everything on the field and then drop some back rows, it's really hard to get past. Okay. So you just really have to use that Max C to stop them and try to just have them stop as soon as possible, so that you can try to mount and come back. Okay. Effect Veiler is not as good, because the reason being, especially going second, going first, because if you go first against Samurai and then you set a monster, set some back row, Effect Veiler isn't as good because they have the ability to use Elder instead of Kaigeki, and a lot of people are going to use Elder now because of a few things. First, she has most things back to 2, we know that, so that's gonna hurt. But the reason being is because it flows really well with asceticism, because you activate asceticism on Elder, and you get Kagemusha with it. Okay, so, and also, one more thing about Max C I have to mention. It was a really important point. This is the hardest thing to figure out. When your opponent, let's say, activates Dojo and 6-7 United, okay, and then they normal summon Kagemusha and ask you for a response. That is really difficult. The reason being is because if you have Max C in hand, you don't know whether it's discarded or not. Because look, if they normal summon Kagemusha, they ask you for a response, you're like, okay, so he has 3 Kizons in the deck, and most people play 3 asceticisms. Okay, so you're like, crap, I don't know if I should discard Max C first, because Kizons are inherent and Grandmasters. Oh, and Grandmaster, there you go, are inherent summons. If you discard that before, especially Kizon, then you draw a card. But if you discard a Max C and then they chain asceticism, you just lost the card. So it's really difficult to figure out if they have a Kizon inherent or Grandmaster, those are inherent, or if they have asceticisms. So if you do the math, they're more likely to have Kizons, 1, 2, 3 Kizons, and at least 1 Grandmaster. That's 4, maybe 2, so 5. Asceticism maximum 3. So if you do the math, they're more likely to have a Kizon and a Grandmaster. And of course, if they wrote it for it, then you know. But then you have 5 targets instead of 3 asceticisms max. So, in my opinion, I would discard Max C after the normal summon Kagemusha turn 1 or turn 2, whatever, just to stop them from. And if they chain asceticism, okay, you lose a card, but it's not as bad as if you don't drop Maxi and all of a sudden they drop 2 Keyzones and you're like, okay, that sucks. And then they go Barkion. So you just lost like 2 cards there. So, just mathematically speaking, you would discard the Maxi after Kagemusha hits the field. Back to Valor. Valor's not that good again. It's only good against like Kaigeki, and if they have Elder plays and stuff like that, it's not that good. Fiendish Chain is good though, because it's better than Effect Valor because you can chain it to Xian when he tries to negate something, like activate Dark Hole and they go Fiendish. They negate and then you Fiendish Chain their Xian. And it's too late to Magatama because Magatama's not chaining to Dark Hole or whatever, something like that, you know. So they probably Magatama anyway, but that was just a quick example. So what are good side deck cards against 6 Samurai? 6 Samurai, they have a lot of searching power nowadays. Well, okay, Thunder King is really good against that deck because of they run double smoke signal, a reinforcement. They also run gateway, which adds, and then they make like Xians and things like that. So Thunder King is good to negate that kind of stuff. I like Thunder King. Also, another really good card that a lot of people don't really know about. I started citing this at YCS Rhode Island, the first one I topped, and it was actually a really broken card. Fairy Wind. Fairy Wind is a really good card. If you don't know what it does, destroy all other face-up spell and trap cards on the field. Both players take damage equal to the total number of cards destroyed by the effect times 300. So why this is good? Better than Spell Shattering Arrow. Spell Shattering Arrow is very similar. It destroys all face-up spell cards, and your opponent takes 500 for each one. Now, granted, you take damage on this too, but what this really is good against is against Rivalry of Warlords. Also, Spell Shattering Arrow can only destroy spells, but this can destroy traps. Examples: Samurais will side in Rivalry of Warlords or Gozen Match or something similar. Okay, they'll have, that's one card. Then they have Fiendish Chains already in the deck. Then they have 6 Sam Uniteds, Gateways, Dojos. That's so many cards. Okay, I'll give you one example of what happened in Rhode Island that won me the game. It was game 2. I already won game 1. I was playing Samurais, and he goes, it was like, I was beating him down, and he's at like 1,000, something like that, okay? And he has like 4 back rows and 1 card in hand. And I'm like, okay, one's a face-up rivalry, and then like not much else, okay? And then he goes draw, and he has 2 cards in hand now, and he's like, well, I know those are bluffs. So he flips up Gateway, he flips up 6 Sam United, he activates 6 Sam United from his hand, and then he normal summon keys on. He just drew the monster, and I'm like, Fairy Wind. And he looks, and he's like, that's game, because I already did 1,200 damage to him with 4 face-ups. But even if I didn't kill him with that, he would have lost because he couldn't do anything. The only way he could go off is with that Gateway, and the United is to draw. So that's like the only way. And so that's how I won. So Fairy Wind is actually a really broken card against Samurais. Takes out like half of their spells and traps, and it's really good because people don't expect this. So like, crap, this is really good, Fairy Wind. So I would really side this for the mirror match. For the Samurai matchup. I also like Kinetic Soldiers. Kinetic Soldiers are really useful. You could also run Puppet Plants to get rid of the Xian. Puppet Plants are best in the wind-up deck. The reason being is because things like Shark and Magician allow you to have access to level 3, 4, or 5s, which are really useful. Because let's say if you Puppet Plant like a Xian, then you can make a Shark and then make a level 5, or a rank 5 Exceed. You can take their keys on or whatever, and then make a rank 4, and then you make anything, Elder, make a rank 3, and even Kagemusha, you can take the tuner, and then make any level of Synchro, 5, 6, or 7. So that's why the wind-up deck is the best to side Puppet Plants in. Otherwise, I'm more like Kinetic Soldiers. Okay? And I also side Smashing Grounds in this matchup to bait the big guys, and Chain Disappearance. I like Chain Disappearance against Kagemusha and Elders. Alright, so that's all I have for this matchup. So if you guys want any other information about other decks, just let me know. Another deck that I might be making a profile about is Heroes. The reason why is because I think a lot of people will be playing Heroes because of Super Poly. Super Poly is just too broken right now. It hits the biggest deck, Rabbits. So Super Poly, like, and they can't negate it with Logi or Dolka. So I think Super Poly is actually going to be a really played, or Elemental Heroes is going to make some kind of difference at this event. So I'll let you guys know. If you guys want any information on other decks or anything like that, just let me know. And I'll try to accommodate. Alright, thanks guys, 3zinferno signing out.